So I recently made a quantum jump in my life, and I want to walk you through the step-by-step process of how I did it, how I was able to identify that I did it, and how you can do it too. If you do this, be prepared because your life will be literally turned upside down. And why? Because you will have entered a whole new reality, and it might actually be that reality that you've been working to manifest for so long. If you're new here, hi, my name is Talia. I am a designer and mystic, and my mission is to help you learn how you can transcend your limiting beliefs so you can become the most awesome, most authentic, and most unapologetic version of you. Today, I want to talk about how you can transcend into a whole new reality and into that upgraded version of you who is already within you but is shying away from coming out. And as always, if this is helpful to you and you're interested in learning how to transcend other areas of your life, don't forget to subscribe. So what is quantum jumping exactly? In scientific terms, it describes an abrupt transition. It can be of an electron, an atom, a molecule from one discrete energy state into another. In spiritual terms, quantum jumping is when you're able to transition into a new reality which you couldn't access before. Why? Because, well, your frequency wasn't aligned with the frequency of that new reality. And to enter this reality, it basically requires a complete shift in your mindset, which requires that you change your thinking patterns, which basically means digging into your subconscious mind and completely changing those thinking patterns that you've had your entire life. So 2 months ago, I made a quantum jump. And of course, I didn't know at the time that I was doing this, but now I can tell you for a fact that I did. And I can even tell you the day and time. It was December 16 between 6 a.m. and 3 p.m. That is the window where I knew something was going on. So what happened? Basically, I had been seeing this guy for a while. I had known him for a long time. We had dated before. We were trying again, but the same pattern was repeating with him. There was a lot of back and forth. It was like a situationship. And I've noticed in my dating life that I'm usually really trusting with people until something triggers me. The week prior to this happening, I had broken up with him because, well, I was triggered from something he did. But instead of actually talking through it, I just decided to do what I know how to do best, which is leave before I get left. You guessed it, my pattern is that I have huge fear of abandonment and I'm very much anxiously attached. Now, if you don't know about attachment styles, I highly recommend you get the book Attached to learn more about that. But back to my quantum jump. So I've learned that apparently I don't like to ask for things when I feel like my needs aren't being met. So turns out I'd rather bail than actually talk through things because I don't want to come across as needy. Fast forward 1 week later, we were able to talk through things once I was calm, and I acknowledged that I needed to do better with this. 2 days later, the stupidest thing happens, and I noticed myself getting triggered again. I start getting that very familiar sensation taking over my body. It's that heat of like the nerves starting to fire up. My mind starts going to the worst case scenario, all the usual stuff. It's exactly how I've reacted so many times in my life whenever I'm confronted with uncertainty. But this time, I do something different. I catch myself feeling that feeling, and I go, wait a minute. I start questioning the thoughts that are going on in my mind, and I'm like, okay, Talia, we are reacting again. At this point, we do not have enough information to know if that story that you're creating in your head is even remotely true. So calm the fuck down. And let me tell you, that story I created in my mind, it very much felt like a fact at that point. So I decided to calm myself down. I did some breathing. I decided I would just ask him about the situation rather than straight up accuse him and assume the worst. A couple hours later, I was able to talk to him. Turns out it was completely not what was going on in my head. But in the hours leading up to that conversation, and even during that conversation, I could just feel myself going like I wanted to blow up. I wanted to bail. Like, I was just like, I don't know if this is true. I was just fighting with myself, trying to hold it together. And I was like, okay, we can't go there. Like, we know you just did this. And then, we had the conversation. I just kind of stepped away for a little bit. I was like, okay, I need to calm myself down, like, just not talk for a little bit. And like an hour, a couple hours go by, and I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm coming back to myself. And then I start feeling so much peace. And I'm like, that's a different feeling. Like, I start feeling like something's going on up here. For a second, I swear to you, I felt like I was on mushrooms because I was like, what what's going on? And then I go, holy shit, I think I just regulated my own nervous system. Like instead of fleeing the situation to escape my feelings like I always do, I just kind of went like, whoop, back to center. And the days after this, I started feeling like so much more expansive, like really in flow, and I was able to focus much better at work, and like I would usually get headaches, I wasn't getting them anymore. And the only time in my life where I felt this way was when I went to the Joe Dispenza retreat the year before. And I think I also did a quantum jump at that time, but I didn't know. I also didn't know. Now that I'm like thinking about it, I'm like, probably that was a quantum jump. I just didn't know that that happened. But I just felt so much love. I was so much in awe with the world. And it was also after I did something similar that happened. This book, Power versus Force, has a section where the author, David Hawkins, who is a renowned scientist, mentions what it feels like to have a quantum jump. He says that usually man wonders about in his endless conundrum, asking the same question century after century, and because of that, he will continue to fail quantum leaps of consciousness. But a mark of a sudden expansion of context and understanding is an inner experience of relief, joy, and awe. All who have had such an experience feel afterwards that the universe has granted them a precious gift. That's exactly how it felt for me. So anyway, after all of this happened, my relationship with this person completely changed. Like, we never had a fight like that anymore. There were a couple instances where I noticed that we were going in that direction, and then I was just like, nope, back to center. Like I would catch myself before it went in that way. So then I was like, I'm learning how to disrupt my own thinking patterns. So let's talk about how you can do the same. The key theme here is nervous system regulation. Quantum jumping requires a substantial thought pattern disruption, which leads to a shift in your mindset. And all of your behavioral thought patterns are stored in your subconscious mind. So the next time you get triggered, whatever the situation is, it can be with the person you're dating, it can be with your mom, it can be with the cashier at the grocery store for all I care. Observe what is happening in your mind and in your body. Can you question the thoughts that are going on? Someone was unfair to you, so you feel angry, or you feel guilt because somebody is accusing you of hurting them, or you feel shame because you got rejected from something. Observe and question these thoughts. Are you sure they're true? Do you have enough information to guarantee that it's true? Before you react, try to calm yourself down. Try to bring yourself back to center. Don't blow up. If you react the same way, you will remain the same way. So how can you react differently from a place of love? First and foremost, love for yourself, and also love for the other person. And I know this is the hard part, but if we really want to grow spiritually and in all other ways, it's by rising up in love. And if you're like, no, I don't really want to be sending love to this person, well, at least do it for yourself. Send love to yourself because you don't want to keep those ugly feelings stored in your body. The more you start letting go of those feelings that keep pulling you down, that keep you in those lower states of consciousness, the faster you can rise up to your higher self. And all in all, the happier you will be. Your higher self belongs to that new reality that you absolutely deserve to have. So that's all for today. I hope this has been insightful for you. And if you think you've done a quantum jump either before or after this video, I would love to hear about it. Feel free to leave your story in the comments and let's keep talking about quantum jumping. Isn't it so fun? See you next week.